Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. It's been a few weeks since two massive earthquakes hit Venezuela, but since the very beginning, there has been a South Florida effort to be a part of helping the people who survived it back on the road to recovery. Joining me now to talk more about that recovery effort and how it's been going is Katie Marr of Neighbors for Neighbors. You guys are always on it, Katie, and that's why I love coming to you because of what you do every day. Talk to me about what's been happening and tell people who you are.
Well, the simplicity of what we do is just that we're connecting those in need with those who can help, right? And that is so simple and yet so effective. It is giving out people in our neighborhood the opportunity to come forward, whether it's volunteering, donating money, donating goods, and then getting those items to where they're needed. So through our partnership at Global Empowerment Mission, which is a global relief effort organization, which is actually based in Doral, just like us, because all the cool kids live in Doral. But it's really actually wonderful to know that the truly the hub of disaster relief for the planet it lies right here in Miami, which is really cool. Even from the county who sent over their specialized team. I think it's called Miami One, and they go and they were helping sift through the rubble and things like that, and helping to find people. But what we're doing is we're collecting money, and of course there is no amount that is too little. I mean, literally a dollar can make a difference. And the reason why it's so important is because everything that we're collecting here has to be shipped literally across the planet down to Venezuela. And the relief effort is going to take quite some time because, of course, these two earthquakes and now multiple aftershocks, they're saying there's been about 1,200 aftershocks
Wow.
in the area since then, which is just, it makes things even harder because anything that might have been, partially collapsed may collapse further. So that's making it difficult for those who are going through and recovering and trying to still look for anyone. And they're remarkably still finding people, that were in pockets of rubble. So
It's
things
just
that we're collecting is obviously everything from all the necessities you can imagine, from food and tents and sleeping bags, because literally people are sleeping outside in areas outside the city limits, in just areas where there's no buildings, and because there's no place for them to go. It's this isn't like other types of disasters where, okay, well, they can maybe go hold up in a hotel. Those hotels have collapsed as well. And so it'll be quite some time before they are back on their feet, so to speak. But it'll be also, we can feel really good in knowing that we're making a real difference. And I mean, I saw an incredible video the other day, where they literally came up on the shore with a one of those kind of boats that floats kind of on the edge of the water, and blown up, and boom, right up onto the shore. No dock needed. They were coming in right to the edge of onto the beach, and then delivering items, which just shows you the ingenuity behind what Global Empowerment Mission and their partners, including us, are doing. Is that they're finding ways different than any other, and to get through and get to those who need it.
Okay, talk to me about, number one, that effort in the beginning, okay? Because I know we're a few weeks down the line, but talk about our own community with Venezuela, citizens here or people who are from Venezuela, and just the remarkable coming together, to make things happen. Just because there's so many people from South America here in South Florida, and to have
Yeah.
this, you know, uh, I,
Interestingly enough, by coincidence, the Doral area has kind of got a nickname called Doralezuela. And so there are a lot of folks from Venezuela in Doral.
I love it.
So their response was immediate and overwhelming, but incredible. People from our community came forward and said, we're going to do, I mean, a literal army of people outside of the Global Empowerment Mission warehouse in Doral, literally helping to sort all the influx of supplies, pack up those boxes of relief and get them ready to be palleted, put on a plane. And already, I believe 6 tons of relief effort materials and supplies have gone. And then, of course, the United States government is getting involved as well, because, of course, they're the big guns, right? They're going to bring in those tents and things like that, cots and mobile bathroom units and things like that. But the food and deodorant and soap and baby supplies and feminine hygiene products and things like that, are things that we can help give. You see the warehouse there packed with items, and so those are sorted, boxed up, and obviously, there's even pet food there, so that everybody has helped. And then the money is the perfect way to help, because of course the hard costs that cannot be donated usually is the fuel, and getting those ships and planes down to Venezuela. And but there's an army of volunteers that are helping, and it's just really incredible to see people come out. I mean, we've seen it from our inception back in 1992 when Hurricane Andrew came across our shores, and I would kind of say that
How Neighbors was born. If you don't know how Neighbors for Neighbors came about, which is why they're my go-to. Anytime there's a disaster, Neighbors for Neighbors comes to mind, because they were born. The nonprofit was born out of Hurricane Andrew. They understand, disaster relief better than anyone in this community, in my opinion. And so this is why I'm calling on Neighbors for Neighbors again, because they're trusted. They've been here, and you can trust them, from start to finish. And I know that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm always calling on Neighbors for that purpose, because of the connections they have made over decades of time.
Right. And a lot of people think, well, how does this really affect me from so far away? We've got problems here, locally or in our own country, but we have to understand we're a global economy. And so Venezuela is actually very important to the United States, obviously because of their fuel production for our economy, so they're a worldwide provider in that. But they're our neighbors. So many of their family members live here in South Florida. We're a melting pot, and we're never going to turn our back on anybody, whether it's literally on our Florida shores or across, in another continent. But yeah, being around for 34 years has given us the insight of knowing that by connecting those in need and those who can help, our mission that we've toted forever is a very simple and an effective model, right? We find the best folks on the planet, and Global Empowerment Mission here in South Florida is them. And they have, for the past 15 years, they've been around. So they're not anybody new. A lot of people may not know of them, but they're in every corner of the globe. They've been in Maui, North Carolina. They're still in Ukraine, in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, after the storms there. So, just know that these folks have long arms and many, many connections around the globe. One of the things that these nonprofits do the best is garnering resources, right? Is basically working with organizations and companies who are able to give us these items either for free or for pennies on the dollar. You could never go to the store, even with your BOGOs, and buy what we can buy. So that's why your money to us goes a really long way. So your dollar is, say, a lot of times it's, you buy like a dollar, canned good. We can buy 10 canned goods for that dollar. And so even your BOGO could not go that far.
Understand. Yeah. That's the one thing, it's that buying power, that when you buy in bulk, that you can get a better price. And a lot of times people are, they're reluctant to send money, but sending money is the best way for you to get the help, to Venezuela faster and more effective. And
right, because then we don't even have to collect and sort. We will
Right.
just buy those items and ship them directly, or they're already being packaged up and ready to go because we already know what these items are needed, right? For example, wipes and things like that, because they're in these camps where these folks are now living, outside. There's no showers and things like that, so they're using wipes to clean up and things like that, and items like toilet paper, and so they're basically kind of a little tent city, and we're trying to make it as accommodating as possible. But obviously water, but not just water, but even electrolytes and things like that to go in the water, because these folks are out in the heat and the elements, and trying to keep them hydrated, and then obviously medical supplies and things like that. And most folks don't have medical supplies to donate, so we are gathering those items as well. So it's just
We really had to do it.
don't think, yeah, I haven't done anything because I only gave money. Money is, makes the world go round, unfortunately, but it is also a huge resource for us because it allows us to do everything we do, and we don't have to go, okay, well, we got a bunch of canned goods, and what are we going to do with those? you
Right,
know
right,
um, yeah. And so we're really, really grateful already. And there's so many places to give. Of course, we know that a lot of people are asking you for help. And I suppose it's a little self-serving to say give to Neighbors for Neighbors, but we've been around for 34 years, and that's by no coincidence. So just know that you can trust us, and that we are transparent as humanly possible to tell you every bit of information of where your money's going, and we will basically show you in video. We show you where
we'll show you the stories, right? So here's the thing, is that it's not just them telling you, they're going to show you those stories. They're going to show you where your efforts are going. And that's something I love, is you'll be able to see the results. Because CBS4 and Neighbors for Neighbors, as you see the little 4 in that Neighbors for Neighbors, it came out of CBS4 at the time. But now, they operate in, a little bit individually, but still partners 100%.
right.
And when it comes to storytelling, being able to get that story about the efforts that are happening there, because to me, it's one thing that nobody impacts the community like, Neighbors for Neighbors, if you will. We're on it or whatever, but the media gets it out faster than anyone. So to
Absolutely.
me,
That's really what's been our biggest flex, as the kids say, for
Mhm.
our whole life, is that we have that media power, and that is a huge gift from our partners at CBS and Channel 33, that they will go out and spread the message, and that whether it's on television, online, and there's a lot of information out there, and so you just know that you can trust us. I mean, both of our organizations have been around forever, and so we want you to see and know, with your own eyes, and no AI, I promise. It's such a hard thing these days. You'll see a lot of information
Yeah,
out there, but you can touch and feel. And that's the coolest thing about being in South Florida, is that you can actually go and you can volunteer. And that's huge
we
too, because maybe you
volunteer.
don't have the money to give. So if you go on our website, you'll see all the volunteer opportunities, and they're there. Pretty much they've been there every single day. They usually are there just during the week, but they've been there Saturday and Sunday too, while this
Make it a team
disaster.
building. Make it a team building with your
Yeah,
office.
bring your
You know,
kids, bring your
your
friends.
networking groups,
Yeah,
everything, your churches, your
yeah.
mission groups, whatever. Go, 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 go.
Well, we have a
Because
saying at Neighbors for Neighbors that helping feels good. So don't feel bad about doing good things and feeling great about it. There is absolutely nothing wrong in that. So, team building for sure. It's just a great experience. And then you can, sleep rested at night knowing that you did your part. And no matter what that is, whether you're going to give items and just drop them off, whether you're going to go and volunteer, whether you're going to give money, whether you're going to share the message, and so that everybody knows where to give. I mean, do something, and then you'll know that you've helped in some way.
thanks so much, Katie. I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know you guys are, still moving your efforts. And like you were telling me as we were coming on, school is getting ready to get started. So find out all the good stuff that Neighbors is involved in, and then you'll understand. Thanks so
Thank you
much,
so
Katie.
much for sharing our message too. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.